We've seen a lot of criticism regarding tragic accidents. I want to get your opinion on all of that.
How do you stay so calm from all the haters and rude people?
You have loosened up considerably. I feel like Sam did win you over.
Yeah, okay, you won me over.
I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake on mine.
Did you apologize?
What's the big thing coming to Cullman that's so secretive?
This is Sam Roberts with Cullman Daily, and this is our initial Cullman Daily podcast episode. Now, for this episode, the purpose of it is giving a voice to everybody, because what we want to do is give a voice to everybody in Cullman County, and that certainly came with our critics. So what we wanted to do today is to invite some of the biggest critics, or in the past, some people who have criticized Cullman Daily and the way that we have done things. We want them to be able to ask open questions, where we can learn more about what our intention is and what the meaning is behind the way that we do things. Where have we came from? Where are we going? How do we generate revenue? Is it wrong? So let's get started today by introducing our guests here who have a lot of respect for, and I appreciate them coming on with us. So we have Shawn Tankersley and Mr. Ryan Key. So Shawn, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks. I'm Shawn Tankersley from Winston County. Moved up to Cullman. I was born in Cullman, so I've been around Cullman for pretty much my whole life. So I've got a lot of love for Cullman. But now I work in Huntsville at doing aerospace machining and military machining. And I was in the Army for 4 years. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being here today, and we appreciate how outspoken you have been with what we've done with Cullman Daily. We also have another famous guest in the West Point community and in Cullman and Morgan counties, Mr. Ryan Key.
First of all, what happened to your voice? We've been talking to this guy for like 30 minutes, and he's not sounding like this at all.
His radio voice.
Until the podcast started. And hello, my name is Sam. Well, it's been good to be here.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that is very true.
Hey, well, I'm sorry.
Hey, but it's a good radio voice.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, anyways,
it's totally different.
Yeah, I'm self-employed. I'm not near as interested as him. I'm self-employed bug man. I kill bugs and termites, and I referee ball games, basketball, travel baseball, high school basketball, and all that stuff, which most everybody around here knows. And most everybody here is throwing stuff at me, or
I probably have a time or two in the past.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Yeah, that's me, and we're glad to be here. Bring it on.
We appreciate y'all being here, and we appreciate the transparency that you guys have asked us to bring, and by being here today and by asking questions. We want to be open-ended, and we want to give everybody in Cullman County a voice. We want to give everybody in Winston County and Morgan County and all over North Alabama. We want to bring the people's voice to the masses. That's what we have been based on, and that's my honest belief, and that's what I want to do with Cullman Daily. So today we're going to talk about a few topics, but the first one we're going to talk about, and I'd sent these to you guys previously, but the first one that we want to talk about is, how did Cullman Daily start? Where did it come from? Where has it been in the past? Where is it now? And what's the plans in the future with Cullman Daily? So we started in August of 2019. I believe it was August the 9th of 2019 at Second Fridays here in Cullman. That's when we launched, and we launched with 0 followers. Since then, we've organically, no paid followers, grown to over 131,000 people all over Alabama and the Southeast that follow us. Now, during that time, since 2019, we have had several major events that's happened that have exponentially grown our page. People wasn't able to leave their homes. President Trump came to Cullman, and we've seen exponential growth here in the city of Cullman and in Cullman County with industries, retail. Things continue to come to North Alabama, and specifically here in Cullman, which has helped us grow our page at a rate faster than what I think a lot of other times that you could do so. So when did you guys start following Cullman Daily?
I honestly don't know exactly when I started following. Probably just something that caught my eye. So there's a lot of entertaining stuff on your page. You got a lot of just light-hearted stuff. I probably was drawn to that. Over time, then I started seeing little tiny things that I got a little critical of. But all in all, I like Cullman Daily. You definitely know how to get engagement, for better or for worse on that, but so compliments there.
Ryan, when did you hop in on comment? You're always in the comments. You're a funny guy.
Well, my story goes back 2016, 2017, something like that. I was a Twitter guy.
Yeah.
I'd never done social media ever. I always heard about Facebook. I always thought it was kind of cheesy and corny and whatever. So I went out on my own in pest control November 2021. Kelly Burgess, Mr. Plumber, shout out, one of my first customers.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What are you doing for advertisement?" I'm like, "I mean, really nothing. I thought about taking out an ad in the paper. I don't know." And she said, "Well, Facebook will be the best thing for you." I was like, "Well, I don't have Facebook." We just start a Facebook page and advertise on that. So I started Facebook for advertising my pest control company. Now, I don't even advertise much now. I'm more like word of mouth, and anybody call me if you need me, it's fine. But I got on Facebook, and then I noticed quickly Facebook's full of a lot of sensitive people.
Like, they are.
Like, it wouldn't like Twitter. Like, I would try to make my little fun jokes like Twitter, and people would get mad. Like,
some of these Facebook people couldn't make it on Twitter.
No, exactly. And I didn't understand. I'm like, and it's a lot of older people, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm going to bring my my personality into Facebook, and some people like it and some don't. So first time I seen y'all, I thought it was like a satire page because everything y'all put was just so like la la la, and I'm like, Cullman, who's actually following a Cullman Daily something? But then I looked and like, I mean, y'all got 200 likes and comments on everything you put. I jumped in there and we can get into some of that later. But that was like around 2022 something's when I got on some of y'all's stuff, and I've honestly just had a lot of fun.
That's why we like to have a lot of fun and put some serious information out there to help people in the meantime. But over time we have changed in some ways the way that we do things. Now in 2019, I was fresh out of high school. I graduated in 2018. A lot of people don't know that, but I started this page in 2019. I started my own business. I've done some consulting work. I've worked with some political campaigns in the past, and a little bit of other work. But started this in 2019 with a purpose of starting my own business with it. And like I said, we started it from scratch. We had 0 followers. We grew it from there. The first month, I was calling all my friends and telling them I'd give them $10 if they'd go and invite all their friends. We grew from there. We had about 10,000 followers, if I remember correctly, by that December, which was a few months later. The next year, 2020, that's when COVID hit. And that was a major news story. So a lot of people were looking for news. People were at home. We saw a large growth during that year. I think we got up to around 30,000 people. 2021, you saw President Trump came to Cullman. We broke that story. We were the first outlet to put it out there. We worked with the Alabama Republican Party on that and Chairman John Wall. So we broke that story, and that brought a lot of attention to our page. And when the Trump announcement first came out, there was around 30 to 35,000 people on our page. A month later, after he's left, we have 70-something thousand. So we literally doubled within a month, basically, and that was in August of 2021. And since then, we've kind of seen just a consistent growth. We haven't seen anything that just 30,000 new followers here, but we've just seen a consistent growth of a couple thousand people a month hopping in to see what's happening in Cullman. So as we stand today, we have around 131,000 people on Facebook, 11,000 on Instagram, and they're all organic. We haven't paid for any followers. We have no bots as followers. Now, that's not to say that there's not some bots floating around out there that's been followers, but we've never actually went on and paid for 10,000 followers or anything like that. It's all organically grown. And over time, we have changed the way that some of the humor that we have, and I'll say in 2020, 2021, I feel like we were a lot more edgy than what we are now, and we've heard some criticism from you and from everybody. We've heard a lot of criticism from that. We've tried to take that into account and in ways change the way that we do things. Now, I do believe in standing firm in your beliefs and my beliefs that what we do is a good thing, but over time, if enough people were calling upon and saying that you need to change the way you're doing a thing, you need to kind of look into it, and we have kind of shifted the way that we do things over the course of the past few years. So we want to get into that a little bit, but one thing that a lot of people have criticized us about here recently, and the criticism for this seems to have really came out here in the past 2 years. Originally we didn't have near as many followers. People wasn't just checking our page every time an event went on. But over the past year to 2 years, we've seen a lot of criticism regarding tragic accidents, crashes, deaths in the community, the way that we report those things. I want to get your opinion on all of that, and I want to give you my answer and talk about how we do it, what our take is on that, what our intentions are on that, and how we can do better in the future and what we're doing now. So Shawn, you can go ahead.
I've honestly never seen never had anybody die in a car wreck or anything. So I'd have to have somebody that has actually had an experience like that to, really criticize that. But I have seen other people say that you have, or they didn't get enough notification to the families prior to you posting.
Well,
like
I'll tell you this: when there's something tragic happen, it's terrible. We hate to have to report on those kind of things, but it is a matter of public safety when in my opinion, when there's vehicle crashes. If there's a major crash on Highway 31 and it's affecting traffic, then it's a public safety matter to put that information out there. Now, to me, the biggest criticism that I've seen us face in the past regarding this is when there is a death in a crash, and then we try our best to be as respectful as possible to the families. People, and a lot of times people will condemn us the way that we put that information out there. We'll post the name, and a lot of times if it's somebody that a lot of people knew in the community, or we've seen some post about it, people talking about that this person was loved here and they done all, we try to do stories to talk about that they were a good person and some of the things that they've done and been successful on here and in our community. What happens is we typically we'll contact the coroner, or he will contact us. Either way, sometimes, if it's something that looks really bad, where it's like, hey, is everything okay here? And he'll say, there was a death, or there was 2 deaths, whatever. And we'll put that information out there because I think that that's something that the community deserves to know about. And I know some people disagree on that, but we don't put their name out there at that point. We just put out the information from the coroner on what's happening right here. So do other news outlets in Birmingham and Huntsville. You'll see the major Channel 48, Channel 6, all these places. They do the same thing because it's a matter of public safety. Now, when it comes to releasing names, the coroner, typically, the way it goes, he will say, hey, here's the name of the person. Let me talk to the family, or talk to this person or that person, whatever. And then later on, they'll send it to us and say, hey, will you put this information out at 6 o'clock? And we do that. We've done the best we can to make sure that there's nobody just getting informed this way, but at the same time, what we're trying to do is put this information out there from the coroner as a public safety matter, and we release the information when the information's provided to us, and typically you'll see it in all other news outlets. I think that over time, some people have got to where when there's an incident happen, they come to our page, they look for it, and they'll just see it on our page, and it'll be on every other news company, and they'll be saying, why is this out there? Why is this out there? And it's on every other news and media company in this area. Now, I'll tell you one thing that a lot of people, I saw a lot of criticism the other day, and I know you saw this also, Ryan, was the traffic, or the high-speed chase through Cullman on Highway 31. A person tragically, they crashed into a person, they lost their life in it. So throughout that day, that was a major news event. It was on Fox 6, it was on Channel 48, it was on all your local stations, it was on all the Huntsville and Birmingham stations. It was something that the community deserved to know about, that this person had fled police, and the crash that he caused shut down the entire highway. So yes, we posted a lot of information regarding that. As far as the traffic closures, we were live at the scene, primarily with the vehicle of the person who ran from police. We also, throughout the day, KFC contacted us, and they said that they were closing throughout the day. And we put that information out there, but I do see where obviously, some people are like, okay, these people probably worked at KFC, but once again, they published the information they were going to be closed. We put that information out there. Now, we spoke with the coroner. He sent us the information of the person who lost their life, and they asked for us to put that out. And I can't remember exactly what time, but it might have said 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, something like that. He said put it out at a certain time. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I do know before that time, around 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something like that, an hour or two before, the Morgan County Sheriff's Office released the information publicly. They put it on Facebook. Now, the elderly lady who worked at KFC, Miss Ellery Dixon, who passed away in that crash, tragically, her son worked at the Morgan County Sheriff's Office, and he was a really good friend of mine, Mike Swafford. Mike is the one who put that information out there. He put information out about that Sergeant Dixon's mother had tragically passed away in that car incident. And we called the coroner. We said, hey, they put this out. Do you want us to go ahead and do this or wait, whatever? And he said, hold on 1 minute. They call back and they say, hey, go ahead and publish the information. We published it, and we got a large blowback on that. People saying that, how did you get this? How did you know? We saw a lot of people, hitting us on that, but you guys may have some recommendations for me, but what we do is we follow what law enforcement tells us to do on it.
I would just say no pictures. I think that's what triggers a lot of, like, if you say there's been an accident on 157 and whatever, but when you put a picture, say that's like my brother's vehicle, like I recognize that's my brother's car and it's smashed. I think that triggers people when there's a picture and you can tell it's a horrible accident.
Yeah.
I mean, reporting accidents not a bad thing at all, because everybody's traveling and it's nice to know. I've even before, like the other day, I was with 65. Which
you never know what's happening.
Always a mess, and I even almost, because go northbound was just ridiculous, and I was almost like, nobody needs to get on 65 northbound. I would say easy on the pictures, because I feel like that's a big trigger. And I also say this, and I'm not just, I guess maybe I am jumping to y'all's defense a little bit, but it ain't so much what y'all will post on that is and this is something I don't like, and there's a lot of things I don't. Like, I get on y'all. I have a problem with other people's perception of things. Like, I hate there's an accident, especially a fatal crash. Mm-hmm. And the first thing everybody started saying was, Cullman drivers need to learn what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, another Cullman driver. And I'm like, that's the most insensitive thing to say. Somebody out there has lost a loved one.
Yeah.
And all you're talking about is, terrible drivers out there. Well, I don't know if I can cuss on here or not. I won't. But at that moment, who cares? Who cares how it happened, what happened? Like, somebody lost their life. Yeah. You don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. Will could have just come off first. But I think it would take some of that off y'all too, when you don't have the picture of.
Yeah, the vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say typically.
Especially early.
Yeah, and I understand, and that's why we're here, because I want to listen to other people's opinions, and I want to give our take on things, and us discuss things, and I want us to improve over time what we do. And
I want to know more about the black bear. Like, y'all have lost me on that though. Y'all ain't said nothing today about the black bear.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know where he is, and it's really messed up my whole day.
I hope he's not driving through town.
I heard somebody tell me there's two now. Y'all heard that?
Yeah, there's at least two out there.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then somebody said he was swimming in Smith Lake, so.
I don't know about that, but I know there's at least two, because tags on the ears, there's been two.
So there is two?
Yeah, there's 100% two. People like the bear.
Yeah.
they do like the bear.
I want to see this guy.
I ain't got no problem with the bear.
I'll say as far as pictures and car crashes go, I know some people will disagree with me on this, but I'll say from my perspective, honestly, we try to not identify directly the vehicle, and that's why we blur the tag information out. Now, I know that, when it's your vehicle, there's going to be some identifiers that I won't see that you probably would. Maybe you got a dent on the backside or, something like that you're never going to catch. We try our best not to show too much information with a vehicle. Now, I know on the other day we got a lot of pushback. We did post pictures of the vehicles from a distance. Now, I will also say a lot of people jump on us about that. I can promise you Channel 48 was a lot closer than we were. We don't want people to find out through us about this. I mean, and the thing is that there's no good way to get that information, whether it's through us or through somebody else. We especially don't want close family. And what we've seen a lot in the past is, people who will be further down the line, a cousin or something might not have got the call yet. And I think that's kind of stuff that we could work on. But, as far as I've said, as far as putting out that information, we follow what law enforcement tells us, or specifically the coroner's office. It's not the sheriff or the city police. They don't release that information. It's typically the Cullman County coroner. and he will release the information at the same time to every news network. Another thing that a lot of people, we see a lot of criticism about, specifically recently, is how does Cullman Daily generate revenue? And is it wrong the way that Cullman Daily generates revenue? Now, we see a lot of people that have said in tragic accidents that we continue to post clickbait for the purpose of making money. That is not true, and I can assure you, in a tragic incident, yes, I mean, we are just like any media organization who we do have a purpose. We want people to read our content. Now, we don't want to abuse tragedies or anything for the purpose of making money. But, you know, you look at Channel 48 or Channel 6, the more viewership they have, it's going to lead to more revenue. So when there's major events happen, there's just going to be more people watching. That's no fault of theirs or of ours. Now, I will say on a tragic incident on Facebook monetization, which is how a lot of the criticism has been sparked recently, on the incident the other day, the fatal crash, we may have made, and this is just a ballpark guess, $30 to $40. And I can't stop that. That's what they're doing to us. That's not paying our bills, I promise. A lot of people are thinking that we're making thousands of dollars on tragic incidents. That's just simply not true.
Well, it seems like with the engagement farming thing, it seems like there's been a lot more. When did this start? Has this been since 2019, or is that something that's
as far as revenue from?
Revenue, yeah.
No. So this
is kind of recent, or
within the past year and a half.
So I've noticed, I guess, kind of recently that it seems like there is more just maybe throwing out something there just to get people arguing with each other, like the Daystar thing, for instance. You know, the post that got everybody's attention with the Boaz, the whatever. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, and I understand. And now the just for context, the post that Shawn's referring to is a post where Pastor Jerry Lawson at Daystar, who I respect, he's a great pastor.
Great.
He done a message about Boaz, and he referred to Yoaz and I don't remember the other ones, but Slow as, of all those, it was pretty funny. Now, I will say, it got a lot of engagement.
You know, like the atheists or whatever.
There were several
probably
people
just having a field day with it.
There were several people hopping on there, but I'll also say that the exact thing that we posted, Daystar Church shared the same clip.
But they posted it with the congregation. You know, you're posting it to the greater work, all of Cullman, all of Alabama, that's mixing a whole, a lot more.
Well, we have a purpose of reaching, and just like Daystar, I'm sure they'd tell you the same thing. They want to reach as many people as they possibly can.
Okay.
We reach more with the same message that they put out. Yes, I mean, they did share it with their congregation, but it wasn't in a private group or private setting. They shared it publicly. And a lot of the things that we do them, and people say, well, they're engagement farming to make money. Well, my end goal with the things that we're doing is I want to portray Cullman, Alabama to as many people as possible. That's one of my goals. I want to tell people about Jesus. That's another one of my goals. And I want to tell as many people as possible about those things. I believe that what we did with Adam, I think that post reached like 100,000 people. So that's 100,000 people that saw the message that Brother Jerry said. And yes, there was some negativity generated from that, but
just the choice of clips, it being one that would, get negative attention, that's what kind of got me.
But let me say,
it's controversial.
First of all, about revenue, don't know how y'all generate revenue, don't care it. I believe in capitalism. Everybody, you make money however you make money. If people think that you make money on likes or comments, then don't like or comment what y'all have to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you ain't got to tell. I think y'all do. But guess what? I know that when I like it and comment something. So I don't have a problem with it.
Well,
I have a problem with the way anybody generate revenues like it, because it's not dirty.
If getting negative attention and people talking bad about me is what it takes to tell 100,000 people about the story of Boaz, and I'll take that all day.
Yeah, and people also get mad at truth. People are going to get mad at whatever. You said something about atheists. I mean, atheists can get on Facebook and say what they think. Homosexuals have, everybody has a voice, and that is the good thing about this country. Let them speak. you know?
Yeah,
eventually,
well, and I
hopefully.
think that some people who aren't involved in church, they don't go to church because they think they're not welcome and accepted. And I think that the way that message is, I think it's a good portrayal that you're welcome here, and it's okay to have a little bit of fun. I mean, nothing. It wasn't vulgarity. It's just it's a funny message. It got attention, and a lot of people reacted to it. And at the end of the day, he told a lot of people about Jesus because of that. You know, do we make revenue when people visit us? Yeah, we do. I mean, would you rather? And I would like to ask people who criticize that: would you rather me go to the county, go to government organizations and get taxpayer money for it? Would you rather me go to the church and want them to pay me to put it out there because I have to make a living? This is my business. Or would you rather me be able to create an interaction and tell people about Jesus and tell people about the things of our community without having to charge so much money from all these people? We're affordable, and we promote businesses in this community.
Where is that revenue coming? Is it coming from Facebook?
Directly.
From Facebook. Okay. Does anybody? You have to just sign up for that, and it just kind of.
Well, they market it as an invite only platform, and it's some new features that they've came out with. But to make money, I mean, you got to have a really large following or just a super viral post.
And how many followers do you have?
131,000.
130. That's a lot more than Cullman's population.
It is, and there's about
crazy.
now. I will say,
Cullman Daily has got more followers than the
yes, there's
population
about
of Cullman.
90,000 in the county, so we have a pretty good following from people. I mean, every time we post, like, where are you from? There'll be people from Iowa saying my cousin lives in Albertville, or Texas saying their brother is from Cullman, stuff like that. So we have a lot of people from out of state and just North Alabama, just the region keeping up with Cullman. And I think we've been able to bring a lot of people to Cullman through the things that we've done. We don't want to use tragedies to make money. I can assure you, over the things that we want to honor people's lives when we're talking about things. And I know some stuff we've done has came off as, with some people, not being that purpose. That's what some people's opinions are, and that's okay. They're okay to have their opinion, and I respect that. But from my perspective, everything that we have done as far as that, we want to honor people. We want to put out the best information possible that we can about the community. We want to tell the story of Cullman County. And yeah, do we get a large engagement on the things that we do? Do we try to do that? Absolutely, because if you're a media network and you have zero focus on how many people are paying attention to you, then you're probably not going to make it very long. Any TV station, ESPN, even your larger stations, audience is of the utmost importance about what they do. We don't want to use people's lives to get to that, but we do want to create stuff and do it in an engaging way where people will follow us and keep up with the things that we're doing and the things that's happening in Cullman County. Yes, absolutely.
You'll try to do like controversial things to get people kind of like there's two-sided things, so people will. Is that for kind of revenue too, or I mean?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'll say on that kind of content, that is a lowest form of revenue basically you can make. So no, it's not done for revenue. I'll say typically in a day I like to post between 20 and 30 times. That's what I try to do, and that's just to keep us relevant, is to stay consistent. And yes, I mean, if we have 20 or 30 posts out there that only 2 or 3 people are liking, we're probably not going to make it around very long. So yes, we try and do stuff to start conversations and have people respond to it, but it's not necessarily to create controversy or negativity or even to generate revenue. It's just simply so we can stay relevant and putting out the information that's relevant to people in Cullman County and telling the story of this community. I will say on controversial things, I think that what we're doing now is far less controversial than what we were doing in 2021 and 2020, 2022 maybe even. But I think the reason that we didn't have near as much following then, so it wasn't seen by as many people. Now, I can say we've never done anything, or I've personally never done anything with a bad intention from it. I just think some of the humor and stuff that we had a few years ago was a little bit more edgy than some of the things that we're doing now. I mean, we've changed the way we do some of that, and over the course of the past few years, certainly.
Well, you get a lot of criticism about, you'll say, hey, we are a news channel. you know, and then you got the things that people say, oh, that's not even news, you know.
Yeah. As far as lighthearted humor, as far as parking, that's going to be the minority of our page, and it gets people's attention a little bit. So I think they look at it as being a bigger percentage than what it is. But if we post 140 times in a week, there might be 3, and this isn't a statistical study. This is just off the top of my head, but I'm going to guess maybe 3 to 5 funny posts of something like that.
I hate the religious posts. I can't stand them. Okay, here's the thing, and I'm a Christian, but I do hate religion. And again, though, what it suckers in is it suckers in the, you know, no, you're right, y'all are so great, and y'all uplift you, but you know, and then like a couple posts later, you're like slamming some dude's parking. So,
you know,
and again, and I ain't got a problem with. Those are the posts that I like. I wish y'all was more just geared towards. I mean, if you are news, you're news. Or if you're going to be funny and kind of dog on some people around Cullman, then be that. So the religious stuff it drives me insane because it's just for the fact of we're just saying it to look like we're really big Christians when who knows if we are or not, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, and we understand that point of view, but at the end of the day, I look at it as we're telling people about Jesus, and we want to portray that you can be Christian and have a little bit of fun. We don't want to mock people or do anything like that. Yeah, we laugh at parking jobs and some people's driving, but we attempt to never single out a single person and you can see who they are. I mean, it's just.
So what was if you don't mind me asking, somebody shot a paintball out of a truck at someone, which is not funny, but so the person got mad at y'all because you wouldn't put up her picture.
Well,
but in her picture, you could see
this person. She had messaged us, and she was asking. She kept sending these messages saying, and it was true. I mean, it you know, sometimes people send the stuff, and then we'll call to verify it.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "What are you talking about?" It was true what she said, that somebody had shot. And it wasn't a paintball; it was a squeeze ball, I think, is something like kids are doing. You can shoot them, and it damaged her car a little bit, but
it actually damaged her car.
It did.
They
had froze the balls. Yeah, and what happened is she was a DoorDash driver, and when she was DoorDashing, somebody had done that to her, and she hadn't followed. She messaged us, and normally on stuff like that, we don't put it out there unless there's a police report filed or some kind of a public record.
I thought it was funny because you could tell nothing.
Well, and that's what was, because she had sent us a few messages asking if we would post it. I was like, "Well, send a picture of the truck," and she sent a picture of a truck, and it looked like she had a 2003 flip phone, and she was waving it real fast. And then snap the picture, and you could literally not identify anything other than it was probably a truck. That's all you could tell. You could tell it's a truck. You really can't tell what color. You can't tell any details about it. And then she was messaging us, getting mad because we wouldn't post it. And so I posted it and said, "Some lady is really mad at us or upset with us that we will not post this picture. Does anybody know what truck this is or whose truck this is?" And we posted it and everybody was laughing. So next thing we wanted to go over is we had asked our followers some questions that they might have, and we wanted to have them on here. So what we have is our producer, Randy Anderson with Cream of Video. Randy's here. He's going to read off a few of the questions that were some of the more asked questions that we received about what people were wanting to see and were wanting us to talk about here.
So the first question comes from Melissa Pace Twiley. How do you stay so calm from all the haters and rude people? I absolutely couldn't do it. Guess that's why I have no side of my own. LOL. Keep being great.
Our page has a big platform. It's grown to a big platform, and we've grown to have a fairly large following. There's going to be criticism from that. We've got criticism from just about everybody in Cullman County at some point. And I'm open to critics. I mean, we're the same people all the time. We don't put on a face for social media.
Okay, so with that answer, Ryan, Shawn, after being here with Sam and talking on the podcast so far, how do you feel about things now? Do you feel any different than when you first came on, or do you feel about the same? What are your thoughts?
I feel the same because I never really had a problem to start with. Like I said, and I'll still say it now, I think it's a lot of cheesy stuff. But I've also got like family that does cheesy stuff. Where is Jamie Speakman, by the way? I thought
he's probably on a date right now. wife, I had to guess.
He goes on dates a lot for a married man.
He does.
Why he's still married, I guess, for 6 months or whatever. No, Adam Stuckey. Y'all want to hire somebody for some cheesy posts? Hire Adam Stuckey.
He's got some funny stuff.
He will put those, Alabama loses the game. Oh, Alabama may have lost, but Jesus is still king, Or maybe y'all done that. I don't know.
Yeah, we could have.
Yeah. I have no, because I had no fundamental problem with y'all or Sam or anybody to start with, so I feel exactly the same. And when I leave here tonight, I will attack more posts that y'all put, just like I did when I come in. But it's all, again, the
At
same.
least you're consistent.
The same good-hearted fun that I was doing it with before. So I feel exactly the same.
And I love, though, that your aspect of it is you're having fun with this.
Exactly.
Like, that's just, at the end of the day, we're all people. And, there's some fun posts out there from Cullman Daily, but at the same time, it's just people having fun and communicating. And
The only thing on Facebook, and I've only been on it 2.5 years, but I was attacked personally about umpiring. I was called a cheater. I was called a lie. I called all these things. That was the only time I have really been ticked off and wanted to beat the snot out of somebody. I'm not going to get shook up over something unless I'm being personally attacked, and not even about someone say I'm fat and ugly. Okay, that's fine, but I take my jobs seriously. You call me a cheater,
yeah,
and a liar, and you're saying it on no, that ain't gonna fly. But again, that's just me, and I don't really get offended at anything that y'all do.
You gotta have thick skin for sure.
Yeah.
I've never had any. You can't really get too offended by Cullman Daily. Y'all don't say anything.
Shawn, no.
Offend?
You have loosened up considerably since we've been here today.
Well, I don't.
I feel like Sam did win you over.
No. I didn't get. I don't get offended. I just want constructive criticism. Basically, I want to actually, hopefully, get through your head that there's certain things like the repetitive posts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just. It seems like it's clickbait stuff. Stuff to make the page better. Most of my stuff, I'm not just like a hater. I'm just more or less saying come on, no more of that.
No, but I'm just saying,
do
there's no way you're not going to leave here not feeling different.
I guess I'm a little.
You're going to be like, hey, he's not a bad dude.
No,
See, I kind of knew.
I've never not liked him. It's
okay. Now we're debating. Was that supposed to happen?
Yeah, I was about to say, Sam, you turned him against each other.
Yeah, now what?
yeah. I don't hate you. You're too nice of a guy. Look at me. Looks like
He won you over then.
yeah. Okay, you won me over.
Well,
Yeah.
we like having a little bit of fun, and I will say, and we've been doing this 5 years. Have I made some mistakes doing it? Absolutely. And there's been a few things we put out that I put it out, and then later on I'm like, I should have done that.
Is there a post certain that you're thinking of that you might have just regretted?
What I like to look at is where am I coming from? What was my intention with what we said? So yes, there's a few things that we've done that I regretted doing later on. And I will say at the time of doing it, there wasn't necessarily a bad intention behind it or to hurt anybody. It was just it was a bad decision on my end. If anybody watching this is going to say they haven't made a bad decision at some point, they probably have. And I'm man enough to say, yes, I have made a few mistakes in my life. I certainly have. In the car crash the other day, we put the information out as an honor to the person who lost their life. There was a few people that were in that family. Now, I will say that ever since July of 2022, they have consistently attacked us. That evening, they made a post to us saying, go to sleep. And I think you saw this, Shawn, but I will say on that, I made a response to that I didn't have context for the situation it came in.
You didn't know it was a relative?
I had no idea about that. I didn't even know what post it was on.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to say I'm laying in bed. Somebody who has, they've talked bad about us a lot in the past. I have my notifications on for Cullman Daily, and we get about 2,000 to 3,000 comments a day. So I get a notification for every comment. So my phone's literally constantly turning with notifications. I'm laying in bed and I see one that says go to sleep, and it's with somebody who's been very critical of us, and I respect that. And I just click on it and I say, I make a response to it, and I literally close my phone, turn over, and I go to sleep. and I wake up and I see the context of it, and I'm like, that I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake on my end.
Did you apologize?
I did. I reached out to him, but I did, and that is one thing I do apologize for, because I made a mistake on that. The intention I made behind it wasn't a bad intention, is what I'm getting at. I mean, I honestly, I made the comment as kind of a lighthearted joke, and I didn't realize what the situation was regarding now. So yeah, I sent him a message and I said, I apologize. I wanted him to know where the context of what I said. And I even told him it doesn't make what I said right. That's a mistake I made, but what I've learned with mistakes is you learn from them, and I will not make that mistake again. I won't comment back to somebody without digging into a little bit more context, because I'll say on Business Suite, which is the app I use with Facebook, you can click on it and it'll take you directly to the comment. You don't even see them typically, you know. So that is one thing that I done that was a mistake on my end. And I can think of a few times in the past we've made some posts that came off negative, that were intended lighthearted, and you know, you see it and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. You post it, and then like 20 minutes later you look and everybody is like hammering, you know. But I can honestly say I've never attacked anybody with just a bad intention. As far as things that we've made a mistake on, that's really the only thing I can think of recently.
From Sheila Thomason Clemens, how do you get inside information about what's coming to Cullman before the public does?
Well, on stuff that's coming to Cullman, one thing that I think is unique about what we do is most of our information that we put out there comes from people in Cullman County. I was looking the other day, and since January 1st, I can't quote exactly, but I can tell a ballpark range. We've had like 4,000 accounts send us a message. So we get lots of messages, and people will send us information that a lot of times is really credible, and we'll start digging around in it, and then we find out, as just like with the Outback Steakhouse coming to Cullman, we got that from a person, and people know when they send us information, we're not going to tell who they were. There's been several times in the past, and there's been a few instances where, and I've seen this happen a few times, there will be a church trying to raise money for somebody in the church that lost their house or something like that, you know, fire. Somebody in the church will say, hey, you need to will you post for us, and say we're trying to raise money for this family, whatever, and we'll do it. Well, then pastors call and like, hey, well, or not necessarily the pastor, but somebody in the church calling like, where'd you get this information? This is supposed to kind of be private, and not being ugly about it, but you know, this wasn't intended to put out there. And on situations like that, we've had several that's like, who just gave you that? We won't tell you, because when people send us information, we don't tell who it came from, and people know that. With people send us tips with law enforcement, when there's a fugitive search, when there's new businesses coming to Cullman, that's normally stuff that we get from people that we in turn verify. Now, we don't just see stuff and post it. There was somewhere somebody said there was a man on, they sent it to us, and we're like, okay, call them and see if we can verify it, and they're like, there's no man on it.
So you're snitching on people.
Can you promote some Wallace State basketball more?
You know, we're gonna have to, since Farron's up there. We're gonna have to.
We gotta get some butts in the seats.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Speaking of getting inside information about big developments coming to Cullman, I think literally everyone watching this is sitting, waiting, watching, and wondering the exact same thing that May Day asked, which is, what's the big thing coming to Cullman that's so secretive?
Oh, we've had a lot of people asking that, with a developer, we can't say exactly what it is or even when they're going to announce it. We know it's going to be really soon. Oh, God. They're working with, it's a large retailer. It's going to be a very big name retailer. People are going to be really excited about it, and they're going to do a lot of business here in Cullman. It's going to cost around $12 million to build their building here, and they're going to generate around $30 million in sales on it is the projection. So we're really excited about that.
It's a Chuck E. Cheese.
It's not. Yeah, it's not Chuck E. Cheese. I can say that. I'm really good friends with the developer, and they've done a lot of great things in Cullman, but they have asked for me not to say who they are yet. And it's going to be in a historic location here in Cullman City. They say that they're getting close to the close to having everything ready where they can publish everything.
So in the historic, so are they going to tear down some kind of old historic building?
Nothing like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that. Just just a piece of property that's been very influential throughout the years in Cullman, and no, nothing's being torn down for anything, but just something that there's been a lot of great things that's happened on here in our community, and this will be another one of them.
Well, a lot of that is stuff we've already heard. Is there something about it that's just give it a little hint, an extra hint?
We can say it's retail. I can say, I know a lot of people have said, is it Home Depot? It's not Home Depot. It's not Sam's Club or Target or anything or any of those. I think we might have put that information out there. And it's not Crystal's either. I know a lot of people are really.
Well, what are you waiting on? What is?
They're working to finish up some final details and the contract with this company, but they have had everything approved, and they're just kind of working on the final details of the contract. But hopefully here really, really soon. We're really excited about it. Shawn and Ron, we appreciate y'all coming on. I thank y'all for being here and giving your opinion and takes on things, because we want to be transparent. We want to talk about. I've never shied away from a hard conversation or talking about things that can sometimes be uncomfortable for some people. We want to be transparent, and we want to be a voice for the people here in Cullman County, and that's our commitment. I know we get a little bit of criticism or a lot sometimes, but all in all, we want to tell about the good of our community, and yes, we want to improve just like everybody does. We want to get better at what we do, and we want to hear from the people of Cullman County as how we do that. We thank you guys for hopping in. I know this is we kind of just threw this thing together, but we appreciate y'all being here. So thank y'all so much. Well, we would like to thank all of you once again for tuning in and watching, and we want to hear your feedback. So leave us some comments down below. Tell us what you thought, and we want to improve over time, and we want to listen to you and how we do that. So if you have any criticism for us, let us know down below in the comments section. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, and once again, we appreciate our guests for being here. So thank you guys for watching, and once again, this is Sam Roberts with Cullman Daily.